Hi everyone, it's Sue. I'm back again today to play around with this giveaway journal. Once again, I'm not really sure what I'm going to be doing, but I just thought I might work on maybe making some pockets and some different elements to go on the pages in here. So I grabbed a few bits and pieces and I found, so this is Artie Mae's printables, which I love, but I went through some of my pattern papers and I just thought I'll scrapbooking papers and just see if I could find anything that sort of matched in. And I found these Blue Fern Studio papers, which is designed by Jen Bishop. Bird Waltz it's called, and I think they go beautifully with Artie Mae's printables. So I just thought I can see all the colors are in here as well. Maybe make some tags and envelopes, different bits and pieces, incorporating some of these papers as well. So it's all that sort of colorway. And then I also have some of the cardstock die cut shapes. I'll just take it out of the plastic so the shine's not too bad. Look at that, that's beautiful. So we might even use that packaging. Yeah, so we've got some beautiful, butterflies and labels and bits and pieces there that we can probably incorporate in there as well. All right, so when I'm doing a journal, that's probably what I tend to do as well, is I try and just get together some bits and pieces in the same colorway that might work with it as well, just so it flows nicely. I mean, I know they're junk journals and it's just, I struggle a little bit with doing like a real, I absolutely love the junk journals that are just nothing matches, and I just love it, but I don't know, it's just, I can't seem to be able to do that. I have to have a little bit of something that matches. Does that make sense? That's just me. I'm not OCD or anything, but it's just the way that I am. So I just thought we'd play around a little bit with that. And also, whether we do it today or not, I don't know. I love this swatch of this color swatch here on Artie Mae's paper. And what I thought, and I saw Fiona Hayes art. I'll try and link. I don't know that she's on YouTube, but I know that she's on Instagram. And she was actually doing color swatches for journaling cards, and I went, what a genius idea. So I have this cute little stamp, which when I get new watercolors, I swatch them using this stamp. I have no idea what set it belongs to because it's just floating around on its own. But I normally color swatch my watercolors using this. So I've stamped a couple of cards up, and I just thought I might try and do, I don't know whether they've got the same sort of colors in my watercolor palette, but we could even do something like that. And then I'll sort of ink it up a little bit with a little bit of vintage photo or something around the edge, just to sort of bring that vintage side in. And then that can be a journaling card. So whether we get to that today, I don't know, but yeah, I'm going to give that a try as well. So what I've done is I've just grabbed a few more little bits and pieces as well and added it to the basket of goodies. Now, one thing that I did want to do is glossy accent a couple of little mini tags to make into charms. Just bear with me for a second. So these are from Tracy Fox, and I'll just show you. So I've already prepped some of them. So you buy them as a printable and they're on a sheet and you cut them out. I've used I think it's a 1-inch circle punch, so it cuts it out beautifully. And then she's got backing circles for them as well. So, and I've just glued them together, inked around them, and I've added an eyelet there. So I just thought to make them look a little bit more, I don't know, like like glass or something like that. I'm going to just add a few little glossy accents. I'm just having a quick look. Sorry, I should have had this organized. I've used these in something else that I'm working on at the moment, so I only have a few. So I might do those. Let's do 5, do odd numbers. Might just do those 5. Oh, here's one here. What's this? Go. So I might do those 5, and I don't know whether I do it the right way either, but what I need is something firm to put them on. Just bear with me for a second. This piece of watercolor paper that's got marks and that all over it, so I'm just going to put it here because I'm going to put it out of my way, because I know what I'll do is I'll stick my finger in them and make a big mess. Okay, so I've got, so this is what I'm using, Glossy Accents by Ranger. This one I'm just using as glue because the nozzle has been clogged, and I've stuck a pin in there and split the top so it doesn't come and it gets all air bubbles. So that one I'm just using as glue. So what I'll do, and this is, I mean, this is not hard, but it's just a few little elements that we can add into the journal. So I'll just do one to show you. I'll just pop my glasses on. So all I'm doing is, and see, this is clogged from the last time. I don't know. I need to get, just hope I don't split it. Yeah, so I won't split it. Just get it moving a bit. And you can go right to the edge. It's not going to tip off the side. And go right around that eyelet. And we're just filling in. I don't know whether you can see that. Just going to be filling in so there's no card showing. And this is sort of a little bit smoky, a little bit hazy when you first put it on. Just going to tip it around a bit. And I always manage to stick my finger in and make a big mess of it. So we're just going to do that. Where I've put my fingernail, I'll just put a little bit more there. If you do get any air bubbles, just get your pin and just poke it in the air bubble until it goes. So that's, I'm going to do those. I'll do them off camera and let them dry, and I'll show you how they end up working out. Now, it's raining and it's bleak again here today, so I don't know whether you can see that. So that'll all dry beautiful and clear. So I'll do these other ones off camera and I'll show you them when we're done. I'm just going to pop these over here so that they're somewhere flat and I don't stick my fingers on them. Just hope the cat doesn't jump on them. Now, I also found some of these beautiful bookmarks that I had. I don't know whether that's it's probably distracting. Just move them out of the way for a minute. So I thought I'd add a bookmark in here as well. And then I got these, well, they're not buttons, but they're that, I can't say the word, starts with C. Always get them mixed up. And I just thought, I'm just going to glue one of these on. Nothing special. But just which colour will I use? Well, we could use any of them really, probably not this one. I think I like these. They're a little bit brighter. Might use one of these. That one's come off, so I might just use that one. And all I'm going to do is same thing. You can use your Glossy Accents as a glue. So I'll use my one where the nozzle's already wrecked, and I'm just going to glue that in there in the center. You can use Fabri-Tac or whatever you've got, but I just, with this sort of stuff, I just find the Glossy Accents works really well, and it glues pretty much, adheres pretty much straight away. So I'm just going to get that in the center as best I can. How beautiful is that, and how simple is that? So I'm just going to pop that to the side as well. Might have a little bit much on there, so it's sliding. I'm just going to pop that somewhere flat so it doesn't move around. So that's just another quick little element that we'll pop in that journal as well. Alrighty, so once again, I really haven't given much thought as to what I'm going to do. I thought I might decorate a couple of these paper bags, and we can put them on pages as pockets. I'm just trying to find, just trying to find what I did with the paper. I think this is the paper from, yeah, so this is Artie Mays as well. So I thought we might even tear some of these collage sheets. And just glue these on. So we might use these two, choose out of these two. They're all too beautiful, I can't decide. So I might, let's grab my tear ruler. I'm just going to work out approximate height, just so I'm not wasting, so about through the center of that clock. So I'm just going to tear that, I'm just going to give it a torn edge. I'm going to tear this edge. So I think what I'm going to do as well is just do a few little bits and pieces off camera, just so that I'm not dragging this out for you. What are we going to do here? Okay, and something else that I worked out the other day, which I thought was very clever of me, if I can find my my awl or my poke tool. There we go. This little bit here can never get, because I don't have long fingernails anymore. Get glasses out of my mouth. Really struggle to lift this bit if I want to tear anything. Like I can't get, and sometimes it'll start, it was going to do it today. Oh no, see, it starts and then you can't go any further. So with your pokey tool, make sure you've got it on a mat, you don't ruin your desk. It just cuts it for you and gives you a start. So it saves trying to it's not going to work properly now, of course, now that I'm on camera. But see what I mean? It just makes it a little bit easier than trying to get in under there if you've got no fingernails and try and get that little edge. And then we've got a torn edge. So that's just something I worked out the other day. It was a game changer for me. So I think we're going to, just this one we'll put, cover fully, and then I'm tipping that over and I'm just going to tear this edge here. Okay. Let's get rid of that little bit there. Okay, I'm going to ink that. So you can use paper bags, you can use wage envelopes. You can use plain envelopes. I find I pick up all my little bits and pieces from all different stores. I mean, lots of the cheap shops you can get really good stationery supplies, and normally, you know, you can get something that's a little bit different to the normal. So I'm always got my eyes open and just, you know, grabbing little bits and pieces. So and they all come in handy eventually. You'll find that you'll use them all. Okay, so this one I will glue that on in a minute. So I'll glue that on, and I might add another element or something to that. So I'm just going to pop that to the side for the moment. This one I'm going to add, I've got some old book that I've been using on something else. And I might just tear some of that. I'm just going to tear that. I'm just going to tear it really roughly. And I'm going to tear it down this way. And I'll glue that on in a minute and trim that off. Now, I like inking. I ink most of my elements. So just really roughly. Doesn't have to be perfect. And don't know why I'm doing there, because I'm going to cut that off. So I'm just going to grab a baby wipe. So I just glue directly onto this surface and then just wipe it straight away. So I've had a few ladies say they'd like to see a lot of things maybe clipped in so that the journal can be made, you know, used. People can make it their own. So I will clip some items in, of course. But what I've also decided as the giveaway, I'm actually going to give away another journal that is semi-decorated. So it'll only have like a few pockets and a few tags actually clipped in. And that will be, I'll give that away as a prize, as a second, like another prize in the draw. And then that way, whoever gets it, they can actually decorate it themselves, or, you know, not decorate it if they don't want to and just journal in it. So this one we'll just do quite a few decorations and see how it all pans out. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. Where's that? I like this little element here, so I'm actually going to cut that out, I think, and use that on. I've probably got a hole punch actually that I could use. Let me just have a look. Sorry. Let me have a look. How am I going to do this? If I hadn't have cut it first, it would have been all right. Let me just have a look. Just thought, because we're using these papers in throughout the journal, you know, this is how you can use your collage sheets. You can make the most of them and cut out little elements out of them if you want to. I've got a circle to be guided by, and I still can't even cut it out as a circle. Okay. So this is where ink becomes your friend and hides all those edges that aren't straight. Okay, we may not even use that yet, but we'll have a look. I think I just want to put, I don't know, just a nice rose or something. Maybe we can have a look in these elements and see what we've got in these. The only thing I don't like about these die cuts, and I know you can cut them off, is that they put this big white edge around them. So that's pretty, but I've got to cut all that off. I don't want to bore you while I'm doing that. All right, what I might do is I might go off camera and cut around some of those. I don't like all the white on those. I've got this little box of stickers that I carry around. I've got a little cart that I put all my personal journaling bits and pieces in, and I like to put these in my journal. So I'll have a look and see what we've got in here. I always tend to use up the pretty roses first. I mean, that would go. And it does, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. This one's got to be pretty, I think. I might do that. That's pretty. I'll use that one. And these are like vellum stickers. So even though that's got like white around the edge there, I can't pick these up, sorry. Even though it's got white around the edge, it will just sort of blend in more to the background. So what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of ink around the edge of this bag. And on the edge here. Off camera. I'm just going to add just a little bit of I'm using Vintage Photo just to sort of darken that up a little bit. And these just peel off. Pop it about there. A bit of a crease there, but that's all right. Just press that out. It just adds a lovely little element to it, doesn't it? See, I'm not going to use that on there now. I think what I'll do is I'll grab some cheesecloth if I can find some. Here's some real grungy stuff that I just dyed the other day. It smells delicious. And maybe like a label or a ticket or something. All right, so let's just get a bit of cheesecloth. Look how grungy this is. Just gonna cut a random piece off. Doesn't matter if it's too big because we can use it. Use little bits elsewhere. Only thing is I do just cut this selvage piece off because you can't fray that bit. And I'll just see if I've got a label. So I've got some of these little vintage labels and that here too. So maybe some of these. And these I think I got just from Wish. I don't know whether I'm going to use this, but I'm just going to ink it up just so that I can get a little bit of an idea. And See, I probably won't put the whole label on. I'll just cut this bit off. So I don't mind that actually. That looks quite nice. I've just got stickers and everything falling everywhere. Let me just put this away, out of the way. Okay, I actually quite like that. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue just to sort of stick the cheesecloth in place, because sometimes if you don't put enough glue, it doesn't, the card piece or the paper piece that you're sticking down tends to lift a bit if you don't put enough glue on. But then doing it this way, you do risk putting too much. But I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. Now I'm just going back to my clear glue that I use, and it's just from Spotlight. And you're probably all thinking, wow, that cheesecloth piece is so big. But I'll show you what we do. And you've probably all done it. Now this is actually a sticker. So I am going to peel the back of that off. If I can. Can you hear that rain? It's beautiful. It's so heavy. And what I might do is I'm just going to cut this, because it is a sticker, so that this little piece, I will use that on something. You know, you could even add that up there if you wanted to, and we may even do that. So just pop that aside. But I'm going to actually add some glue to the back of this as well, just so that it all sticks down. And I'm just using the same clear glue, which I need to obviously refill. So just glue all over it. So been out this morning, of course, the day that I decided I'd go out. I just still only going out for you know, not just going out for the hell of it, but I wanted to get some more containers. I'm organising my office with all my website product, and I needed some more containers. And oh, there's people everywhere. It's just the rain brings everybody out, I think. It's crazy. So I'm just going to cut that little bit of excess cheesecloth off there. Now I do like to actually have it hanging over the side. Just pressing that down so that it adheres well. And then you just pull, and because the glue isn't properly dried yet, I'm just actually applying pressure to that sticky label, because it'll lift it otherwise. So just rough it up a bit. If you don't like this look, you can just leave it, you know, cut a rectangle or a square and leave it at that. But just trim that off a little bit. It just gives a little bit of texture and nice little element to your packet. And as I said, you know, you can use this, you know, and I wouldn't throw it out. I'd use it on something else anyway, but let's just add it to the top there. So I'm just going to add that to the top of the bag. I might just add a little bit of, let's put my lid on that one. Just add a little bit of this art glitter glue. It's a beautiful day to be in bed with a book or something, or even, well, crafting as well, of course. But yeah, I love this weather, listening to the rain on the roof. So that's just, I've just added that up to the top there. And I've also got something else that I like to keep. And if I've got them here, I'll show you. Out of old books, I love keeping these numbers and, you know, like index details, that sort of thing. So we could add something up the top there on that little label. What have we got? I think they're all, those are all too big. Oh no, maybe not. Let's go table 8. This is all naturally aged as well. I haven't inked any of that. So I'm just trimming this down a little bit because we've just got, yeah, no, that's too big. It takes up too much. And I've got this little pouch. I've got a video, I don't know, coming up. I don't know whether it'll be uploaded at the moment, but on how I'm organising some of my bits and pieces. So if you're interested in organisation, it's probably not anything that hasn't been done before, but I've just found new ways to organise my printables and bits and pieces. So if that's not already there, it won't be too far away. We'll just put a number on. So yeah, if I'm using an old book, I like to just keep all these little bits and pieces as well. Might sound a little bit obsessive to some people, but I just love, I'm just got a thing about numbers and that sort of thing. So and why not? Or if you've got a typewriter, you can use a typewriter, or just print them out on your computer, type them out on your computer and print them out on coffee dot paper, different numbers, that sort of thing. So we might stick that there, and we might even see some of these little bits of cheesecloth that we've got left over from what we've just cut off. We'll pop a little bit under there as well. Okay, just gonna stick that on. Way too much glue there. Way too much glue. Okay. Probably won't even need any glue on the back of this number. So I'm just going to, so tiny. Whoop, whoop. Stick it on there. Try and get it relatively straight and just apply some pressure. Yep, so you didn't need any more glue because I put too much on there and it's just come straight through. And same thing, normally I would wait until the glue is dry. Just pull. And that just gives that a little bit more texture. So whether you can see that. So it's a gorgeous little pocket that you can put all sorts in there. Okay, so that's one element that we've got made for in the journal. What you can do with that is you can just add it to a page. So say we added it here, and you can glue 3 sides like that, and then you can put tags etc in there, and then also in the back, or you can do 2 sides and you can have a tuck here where you can put bigger pieces, and then you've got a pocket. So we might even do that where I was thinking about this page overnight as well. And I was doing these for another project, so they're not going to actually fit on there, but I thought I might even make a smaller, just a journaling spot. So all I've done with that is I've torn paper, and then it's coffee dyed paper or red tea dyed paper, and then I've sewn around it, and then just glue it onto your page. But I still want some of this to be seen, so I'll probably do that. A couple of those for this page here as well. So we'll do that down the track. We won't do that today. So I'm just trying to think where to put this. Where's the other side of that? It's got writing on it. See, I spent half my time trying to decide what to do. I might actually, because it's got that colourway, I might actually just glue that on there. Make a decision and just do it, hey? So I'm just going to do the two sides, I think, so that we can use this as a tuck at the back, and then we can also add this, have this as a pocket. So we want this edge and this edge glued down. So, and I learnt this from Wendy, Wendy's Journal Adventure, which is really handy. Always put your thumb where you don't want to glue, because I don't know how many times I've actually glued where I don't want the glue. And then I've either got to try and get the glue off, or I can't use the element, or I've got to change my whole plan. I've taken this in a fair way. I didn't mean to do that. Just talking too much. And see, that's that silly polish again. Like I painted my nails yesterday, and it's just sort of marking items. So we can't see it. We're covering it up, so that's good. Just going to stick that in there. That rain's really getting serious now. It's beautiful. I was in the garden the other day and bought a whole heap of plants, so at least they're getting a nice water, nice natural water. So that looks really cute. So you've, as I said, you've got a tuck there. I'm not going to lift it too much because the glue hasn't dried properly. So you've got a tuck under here, and then we can put some bits and pieces in there. So that's turned out really nice, don't you think? Okay. So this one, this is easy. It's just, I'm just going to glue it on, and we might just add a label, just a label and some cheesecloth. Nothing fancy. I mean, Andrea's papers, they speak for themselves, don't they? You don't really need to do a lot to them. I'm just going to glue this on. Oh, goodness me. Making a hash of that, aren't I? There we go. Now I've got some clocks somewhere, like that clock. I might actually leave that, and I might try and see if I can find the clock elements that I've got and maybe utilize that. I've just got a bit of glue on that. Wipe that off. But same thing. I mean, that's just a. If you didn't want to, you wouldn't have to do anything extra to that. Just going to ink the top of that tab there. Just ink around the edge because I haven't got it right on the edge of the bag there. So that's just a beautiful little element, another little element as well. Okay, what else can we do? So I thought I might, we want to do some pockets for the front and the back of the journal as well. So I mean, you could even do something like that. If you didn't want just like a standard pocket or something like that. Actually, what we might do today is just out of those scrapbooking papers, we might just make a couple of pockets, and then I might have a little bit of a play with the watercolors and see how we go with that, and then we might call that quits. As I said, I'm going to probably do a little bit of the journal off camera just so that it gets done. And I'm just getting my sewing machine, sorry. Because I like to sew my pockets. I have got so much mess everywhere. So what I like to do with my pockets, these are just very plain standard pockets. Normally I try and do, as I said, with the doily elements from the last video. So these doily elements, so I like to try and do 2 of each. So I do, you know, that element there. I've got the similar but not the exact same one in the front half of the signature as well. I don't know why, but that's just the way I like to do it. So let's make, so obviously we've got that lovely little paper bag, wherever that was, that we've just done. So we've got that, and then I've got a bit of an idea of, and I know I've got some clock elements, so I'll try and find them, and we might decorate that. So then that will be in the back half of the signature as well. And then we might just make 2 pockets, very easy pockets. And we might call that a day. So what I like to do with so these are really easy. Anyone can do these. You don't have to have a sewing machine. I do like to sew them just because I like that element in my journals. So I'm just having a look. So we might utilize one of these pages that have the writing on, and we'll put a pocket on there, because you can't really journal on there. But we can still keep that element in the journal. We'll put it on, no, we won't put it there because there's another pocket there. Sorry, just bear with me for a sec. I'm just trying to work out where. Okay, so we might just do one here, I think. Yeah, so I'm going to cut. So this is how I do it. Once again, all your journals and all your papers, if you do it the way I do, they're all going to be different sizes. So what I like to do, I don't take it right to the edge of the paper. Probably 1/16 from the edge of the paper, and I'm just making a little mark there, just so that I know that's going to be the width of that paper. So I'm going to cut that. I'll just grab my cutter, and I'm just going to cut that as close as I can to that. And we've still got those butterflies, so which is nice. We'll make an element out of that at some stage. Now I like to make my pockets about 3 inches. I find is a really good height. So I'm just going to, where's 3 inches on that? Yeah, so we'll get that beautiful flower in. So I'm just going to cut that at 3 inches. And I think I'm going to cut this 3 inches as well for another pocket, and then I can just trim it down on the other side so we get that beautiful butterfly. So you can see there. So it's not like the full width of the page, and you've just got this little margin around there. Okay, so I'm going to put a little divot in there, and all I use is just a circle punch. I'll just use this one. This one is a Stampin' Up! 1 3/8 inch punch. So sorry, I'm just going to see which one I like best on here. I think I'll go with this one on here. So I'm just going to put a little divot in. That looks really crooked. It's not, it must be just my eyes. Okay, so I just eyeball it, and just about the center. That's all you have to do. Now, once again, I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue in there, because I just roughly glued these on to cardstock, remember, when these collage sheets. So I'm just going to just glue a little bit. I'm going to sew this anyway, so it probably doesn't really matter, but I'll do it anyway. So if you're not sewing, just go around and add a little bit of glue just to adhere that so it doesn't lift. Okay, just going to stick this back in here. Okay, so definitely ink. Well, I like to ink, just so it differentiates from your back page there. That's all. And I might even add a little bit of lace on the bottom, because I'm going to sew around the edge. So just let me have a look. Got this container with all sorts of bits and pieces in it. I've been doing slow stitching though, so I've probably taken all the really nice bits out. Okay, just be with me. Oh, so unorganised, aren't I? So sorry about this. Dropped a tin. Okay, so I'm starting to get a little bit organized. As I said, I've got that organization video if you're interested. So I'm sort of starting to get, like, I know where all my bits and pieces are at the moment. Well, not all of them, but you know, some of the things that I want to use, because I'm trying to organize things a little bit better. So what we could do is we could just add that little bit of lace on there on the bottom. I think that might be really nice. I'm actually going to fold that piece of fabric on the top of that lace. I'm going to fold that over. Let me just get a little bit of this stuff out of the way. I just said to Jim, I'm going to do a video, and he said, how are you going to do a video in all that mess? He doesn't get it. Just doesn't get it. Okay, so probably normally what I do, which is once again probably a little bit obsessive, is I'd probably iron that down. But I'm just going to finger press that. Okay. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of glue. Which glue? I'm going to use this one. Now, you're not going to need heaps because this glue is going to probably... so I'm just going to add it to the bottom here. And I'm just going to put it, sorry if my head pops in the way, I'm just trying to, I'm just going to press that through. So just basically, now that, I mean, that doesn't really worry me. Oh, some days it would, but you can see some of that glue has come through. We're going to be sewing over that though anyway. Okay, so just press that down. Just keep that in place. I'm just going to trim that off from the back. This one from there. Okay, and then I'm going to actually sew this. So this is like a really easy pocket. And I'm just going to sew around all these sides here. So I just need to get rid of this tin of lace. Boom Boom sitting on my move, mate. Foot for my machine. So I don't know whether you can see the machine in here. I don't think so. So I'm just going to quickly, what I might do is I'll just pause the camera and I'll sew this and I'll be right back. Might be a second. Okay, I'm back. So I had to wait for that glue to dry anyway. Got a bit excited about sewing it, so I thought I better wait because otherwise it just glugs up your needle and it can get into your machine. So while I was waiting, I've got this, it's satin bias binding, and I've thrown it in a coffee solution, and I just love it. I just love it's got that shine. It looks really vintagey. Once it's all dried, I just open it up and I you have to put a tea towel or something over top of it because the iron wants to stick to the coffee or whatever that's in it, and just ironed it flat. And then I've just sewn this into a ruffle. So you can put sewn bits and pieces in your journals without actually having to sew them directly onto the page. So you can pre-sew all your elements if you want to, if you've got a sewing machine, and then you can just glue them on later. So I just thought I'd found that in the bits of lace, so I thought I'll just sew that into a ruffle because I just thought that might be cute. Maybe just add it on to there. It actually would look nice there, so it just means that we need to put this pocket on the other side, because otherwise that will be on the inside fold of the journal, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I just like to, you know, if you have a day where you feel like you really want to be in your craft space or whatever, but you've got no motivation or inspiration, I just love doing, you know, these sort of things, just spending half an hour and sewing some ruffles or cutting out some tags out of scrapbooking paper. So at least you're doing something, and it's something that you can use in your journals down the track. So I just think that's a really good way to sort of feel like you are actually achieving something. So I'm just going to cut, and that's all you need to do. Because we glue these, I always make sure I add a little bit of extra glue where the stitching is so that it doesn't lift. You can do like your lengths of ruffles and then just cut them to your size as you need them. And that bit that we've got there, we might actually add to a couple of pages, and they look really nice on the side of your pages. And those circle discs that I'm going to do with this stuff, the glossy accents, we can pin those off the ruffles. So that's just another idea. So isn't that lovely? Well, I think it is. I just think that just adds a little bit more texture. You've got this lace, and hopefully some of that lace will actually hang out the bottom of our journal, which is where's the journal? Sorry. And you can see I've just done, I like to alternate my stitches too. I don't always like to have just, you know, zigzag or just straight. So I've just added some little bits of both on the pocket. So we were going to put it here, so you'll see what I mean when I say this is going to be, so it's going to add bulk to the center of the journal. So we might tip it over and we'll just put it on this side. Okay, so what I might do, I'm just going to carefully trim those little bits. See these little bits that we folded over? I'm going to trim them off while trying to not cut the lace underneath. And just want to have a look. Yeah, it's not going to hang out as much as I wanted it to, but that's all right. So what we'll do is we're going to glue this now. So we're going to glue 3 sides. Put your thumb where you don't want to add your glue. And we're just going to glue this down. So this is a quick and easy, pretty pocket. My glue is all gluggy. Oh, I didn't want to put it there because there's a pocket there. Where's the other sign? Here, it's the same thing, so it doesn't really matter, does it? Oh no, hang on. I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so we'll stick it here. Okay, so we're going to stick it like that. I'm just going to tip it over the side and pull it down as far as I can, just so some of that lace does hang out the bottom. Okay, so just really, just make sure you don't have any excess glue there. And then just fold your page over and just press that so that adheres really nicely. And there you have a beautiful little pocket, and we can add some charms or something off this ruffle as well, and put some tags and bits and pieces in there. So we can put some words on here. We might come back and do that. I'll dig a few more bits and pieces out and see what we can do, but you can still get that element of a book page. As I said, it's hard to journal on that. I mean, you can journal on these bits here and add a photo, but I like to still see those elements in the journal. And then so you can also make it practical and put a pocket on the bottom of the page. All right, so these little bits here, I might cut this in two, and we might actually add that to a couple of our pages while we're going. So I'm just going to cut that approximately there. So you might get like to try and do it in between the fold of the ruffle. So just remembering too, all this sort of stuff adds bulk to your journal, but I love it. I just think so. This is like a flip out page. I'm thinking, no, I might add a tab to that, but so same thing. Once again, we'll add one ruffle to the front. So let's add that to that page, and one ruffle to the back. As I said, I don't know why I do that. I just find that if I do two of each element, I just find that works better for me. So you might like to do three of each element. So it's totally up to you. So same thing, I'm going to stick this and just have this stick up, as you can see, just above the page a bit, just so that when you turn the page you can actually see that element there as well, and then just press so that it adheres. So once again, the beautiful page that Andrea's done doesn't need much to it, but we've just added a little element, and as I said, we can add a little charm or something maybe to that down the track. We'll see what happens. So this one I'm going to add to the back of the journal, and I think we might add it onto this. I'm going to go up and down this way. Same thing, I try not to overthink it too much, because I would just never get anything done and I'd be second guessing myself all the time. I'm a little bit, I like things to be perfect, and that's why junk journaling has been great for me. So it's just taken me out of that my comfort zone a little bit. So, but if I do start overthinking things, that's when I just don't find that I don't end up making things, because I'm overthinking it too much and it's not perfect. So it's the same thing. I'm going to just bring that over so that it just shows off the edge of the page there onto the page before. And that just adds another little element. Just trying to find my lid for my glue. Another little element to that page, which we won't be decorating, because that, I mean, you can colour that in if you want to. A bit excited with the glue there, so just rub that off, because if we close that up, it's going to glue the page together. So there you have it. We've done a couple of ruffles. What else did we do? So we did this pocket. I'll finish off this other pocket off camera, and I'll put that in the front part of the signature. And then I might do a little bit more decorating throughout, just so that I don't drag it out too much for you guys. And we'll do a little bit more next time. So if you like the look of this journal, and you'd be interested in going into the draw for it, all we need for you to do is to be a subscriber to my channel. And I'd like to thank everybody that has subscribed. I love teaching. I used to own a scrapbooking store many years ago, and I really miss that side of thing. I love sharing ideas and helping people learn new skills, that sort of thing. So this is just a way of enabling me to do that, and I really thank everybody that follows me. So thank you and welcome to the new subscribers as well. So subscribe to my channel, like this video, and answer the question that I'll put in the description box. And if you get it right, I'll pop you in the draw. So if I have, and hopefully there won't be 30 videos of this journal, you do have the chance to get 30 entries in to win this. And I will have, this won't be the only prize. I'm going to have a couple of prizes to do as well. So all right, well, I'll leave it with you today, and once again, thank you so much, and hopefully I'll have another process video for you very soon, and hopefully we'll get this journal done in the next few weeks and we can do the draw. So thanks once again, everybody, and thank you so much for your support, and until next time, I hope you get a little bit of crafting in. Thank you. Bye-bye.